Happy morning, dear students. Today's topic is intussusception. Here, this condition also comes under the gastrointestinal disorders. Okay. Here, what is intussusception? First, you should know about the normal intestine. This is the normal intestine, how it is there internally in the infants. Okay, this is the normal. But intussusception means here, this is the intussusception condition. Okay, first you should observe this image. What is intussusception? It is a telescoping of intestinal wall. Here the telescoping of intestinal wall into itself. Here it may insert the lower part of the intestine, the part of intestine into another part of just below. Okay, the part of intestine into the another part of just below it. It is called as intussusception. Here, or the telescoping of intestinal wall into itself. Here, the compression or overlapping of clinical or pathogenic features of disease or lesions is there in this intussusception part. Okay. This is about intussusception. All of you clear? What is intussusception? Nothing is there. Here, mostly here the slipping of one part of intestine into another part just below it. That is called as intussusception. Okay, the intestinal part is slipping into one part, that is distal part to above the part. Okay, this is about the intussusception. First, you should know about what is intussusception. Okay, did you got what is intussusception? Okay, definition. Intussusception is the invagination or telescoping of one segment of intestine into another adjacent distal segment of the intestine. Are you got this point? Here, what is the definition? Intussusception is the invagination or telescoping of one segment of intestine into another adjacent distal segment of the intestine. That is called as intussusception. The term intussusception is derived from Latin words. That is, intus means within and suspira means received within. Same part, but the distal part or the distal part of that intestine or any part may insert into the same organ. Okay, so that is called as intussusception. Look at this picture. This is the normal intestine. This is ascending colon. This is normally it is there. But here in this condition, what happened? The intussusception will be there. Means here the one segment of the intestine into another adjacent distal segment of the intestine. It may insert it. Okay, one part to another part. So the compression will be there. And overlapping also is there. So once the compression and then overlapping, what happened? Child is suffering with the pain and then abdominal distension. Okay, this is about the intussusception definition. Coming to the incidence. The incidence is 1 to 4 in 1000 live births. More common in boys than the girls. Okay, this is the incidence of intussusception. The next, coming to the causes. It is most common cause in children between 3 months and 6 months of age or in older children and then adults. Okay, mostly this condition is we will see in the infants itself, that is 3 months to 6 months of age group children. Rarely we will see in the children and then adults. Why we are seen in the infancy more common means because premature babies is there. Okay, low birth weight babies is there. Congenital malformations babies is there. So these are the conditions most common in infancy. Okay, and cause is not known, but exact cause is not known. Since the intestinal tract in children is freely movable, hyper peristalsis due to the gastroenteritis or lesion may lead to these conditions. Here, but in children, what we are identifying means the intestinal tract in children is freely movable, but hyperperistalsis due to the gastroenteritis, okay, or lesions may lead to these conditions because of some gastroenteritis or hyperperistaltic movements. The movements of the intestines is hyper. So because of this hyperperistaltic movements, this part, okay, may enter into the distal end of the part of intestine, may enter into the same part of the intestines. So the telescoping of the intestinal wall is there. So that is one of the cause. Some exact cause is not known. The classification. Here the classification is divided into 3 types. That is ileocolic. Ileocolic means in this this is the commonest type where the ileum invaginates into the cecum and then into the ascending colon. I show no here this part is called as ascending colon, this part is called transverse colon, this part is called descending colon. What happened here, the ileocecum is most common part. Okay, we will see in the children. That is ileocolic. Okay, in this this is the commonest type where ileum invaginates into the cecum and then into the ascending colon. Okay, that is the commonest type. And second one is cecocolic. Cecocolic, in this type, that cecum invaginates into the colon. Okay, this is the second one. Third one is ileoileal. Same. Ileoileal. Both the ileum is inserted into the ileum. In this type, the portion of ileum invaginates into the other portion of the ileum. Okay, these are the 3 types or classification of the intussusception. Most common type is ileocolic. Ileocolic means in this what happened here, the ileum is invaginates into the cecum and then into the ascending colon. That is the commonest type where the small intestine is attached into the large intestine. Mostly ascending colon it is happening. Okay, that is ileocolic is commonest type. Total 3 types is there: ileocolic, cecocolic and then ileoileal. Okay, this is the classification. And coming to the pathophysiology. Here the pathophysiology of intussusception is a segment of bowel telescopes into a more distal segment and drags all the associates blood supply, nerves and then lymph of the parts. Did you got this point? Here because of intussusception or segment of the bowel telescope into a more distal segment. Okay, here enter into the distal part into the above the part. Okay, so what happened? It leads to the drags the all associated blood supply because the compression is there, because overlapping is there. So because of compression and then overlapping, what happened? The blood supply, nerve supply and lymphatic supply is lost. This results in compression of veins followed by swelling of the region leading to obstruction. Once the compression is there, automatically because of this chyme is there in the stomach, intestines, no, everything, it may obstruct. It may leads to the swelling because of nerve supply and then compression. Some regions the swelling may be appear. It leads to the obstruction and decrease the blood flow to that part. So blood circulation also is lost. It leads to generate and then bleeding. Here the child is suffering with the here some gangrene is there. Okay, because one part any obstruction is there. So what happened here? Automatically blood circulation is lost. It leads to the gangrene. So and then bleeding also will be there, and it leads to the rupture may followed leading to the abdominal infections and then shock. Here what happened? Why it may be leads? Because of obstruction, because of necrosis, because of bleeding, the rupture may be there and it may leads to the abdominal infection and then shock. This is about the pathophysiology of into susception. And clinical features. What are the clinical features? The onset of symptoms is sudden. Triad of symptoms is okay, that is colic pain. It is colic pain. It is a sudden pain will be there because the distal part is inserted into that above the part. Okay, look at this picture. What happened here? The telescoping of the intestine is there. So what happened here? It is inserted into the distal part. So here obstruction will be there. Once obstruction is there, what happened? Automatically blood circulation is lost. Okay, here because of blood circulation, lymphatic circulation and nerve supply circulation, everything is lost. So what happened? Obstruction, gangrene and then necrosis is there. Once the necrosis is there, because here the everything is chyme is there, no, here the what happened? Automatically here the swelling is there. Because of that necrosis, the bleeding and then rupture also is there. It may leads to the infection, abdominal infection, and then child is suffer with the shock. Okay, what are the clinical features? According to that, you should write. Here the triad of symptoms is colic pain, bilious vomiting. Here the child is having vomiting with the bile content is there, and the jelly like stools is there. Because of that child is suffering with the jelly like stools, and colic pain is identified by infants. Sudden loud crying and drawing into the knees. Up to the chest wall. Okay, when how that baby is feel means babies draw their knees to touch their chest walls. So that is a very clinical important clinical feature of colic pain. Okay, that is about important of colic pain. And then colic pain, it is a sudden loud cry is there. Okay, that time it indicates that the parents is explaining, okay, my baby is feeling like that, baby's sudden cry is there immediately. What happened we doesn't know, they are telling like that. Okay, how their baby is crying means the knees is touches to the chest and then baby is crying. That is the colic pain indications. And then baby temperature is rising, that is up to the 41 degrees means 106 fever, because infection and that infection is may enter into the bloodstream, no. So rupture and then bleeding, gangrene is there, no. So baby is having increased body temperature, that is 106 degrees Fahrenheit. And shallow respirations is there, episodes of vomiting, abdominal tenderness, distension also is there. Baby, whenever we are touching the abdomen, baby is unable to palpate the abdomen. So tenderness is there, distension. By physical examination itself, because of swelling, abdominal distension will be there. On palpation, sausage shape mass is there, is felt in the right upper quadrant. Because why it is present means most common type is in the cecal region we are seeing. Okay, so that is ileocecal. So it is the most common type. So we will identify right side of the upper quadrant of the abdomen is having swelling. So mass also is we will palpate. This is about the clinical features of intussusception. Coming to the diagnostic evaluation, by first physical examination, head to foot examination, and then history taking, everything is over. After that you should go for the routine blood investigations. And then barium enema. Barium enema, it shows that some obstruction is there. Not obstruction, some telescoping of the intestinal wall is there. So we will identify that the child is suffering with the intussusception. That it relieves that barium enema. And then X-ray, abdominal ultrasound should be, it relieve that child is suffering with the intussusception. Okay, that is diagnostic evaluations and management. The treatment of intussusception is non-surgical. Hydrostatic reduction using barium and then air enema. Here the hydrostatic reduction using barium and air enema. This procedure they are using for the management of intussusception. Hydrostatic reduction using barium and then air enema. Here the most common type is mostly they are using the barium enema, but compared to barium enema and then air enema is commonly successful procedure. Look at this here. Air insufflation is believed to safer than the barium enema, because the infants is there, no. Barium enema, after that some complications and then infection and then fever also is there, because it is a painful procedure. So in children, air enema is required for that, air insufflation. Okay, and successful reduction is reported in about 65% to 85% of cases of barium enema. Okay, here but it is the successful rate, barium enema successful rate is 65 to 80%, and air insufflation procedure is the success rate is up to 90% is there, because it is less pain and then it is not having any complications. So air insufflation is mostly they are using this procedure. If the hydrostatic reduction is unsuccessful, then the surgery is required. If hydrostatic pressure or air insufflation is not treated properly, so surgical intervention is needed for this condition. But what is the management of this condition is hydrostatic reduction with the barium enema and then air enema. Okay, that is called as air insufflation and then barium enema. If these procedures were not successfully done, means surgical intervention is needed. Okay, coming to the nursing management, pre-operative nursing management. Prepare for admission and then surgery. Help parents understand modalities of treatment. Withhold oral fluids, that is 6 to 8 hours prior to the surgery. Parenteral fluid is administered in case of shock. If because the shock is there, no, baby is suffered with the bleeding or rupture. So baby is having, because of high temperature, baby is underwent the shock. So you prevent that shock, you should administer the parenteral fluid. Okay, and the nasogastric suction is decompress of the bowels. Here the nasogastric suction is needed for decompressing of the bowel movements, and then enema should be given. Maintain the intake and then IO charts and administrate the antibiotic as prescribed. Because severe infection is there, antibiotics is needed for pre-operative management. Coming to the post-operative nursing management. Here the assess the general condition, assess the observe for barium in the stools if surgery is performed. Okay, because here the barium enema and then air insufflation is not successfully, that procedures is not happened successfully, so we went for the surgery. So you should observe before that. Monitor the vitals and observe in the incision site for the drainage. Here they are doing the surgery, it is open, no, it is post operative management. Observe for any incisional site for the draining and then any bleeding, and then check about the dressing. Monitor the abdominal girth daily. If any infection is there, automatically girth is increased, so you should check the abdominal girth daily. That is very, very important in GI disorders conditions. Parenteral fluid until peristalsis is returned. Whenever the peristaltic movements is appear, that time only you should allow the orals. Until that you should give the parenteral fluids. Okay, GA suction to keep stomach empty. Okay, every time you should do the GA suction, gastrointestinal suction is needed for these babies. Monitor urinary output, ambulate child as early as possible should be there. Okay, that is about the post-operative nursing management. Okay, did you understood what is intussusception? Here the intussusception, it is an telescoping of intestinal wall into itself, or the distal end of the intestine may enter into the upper portion of the intestines. The clinical feature is main clinical feature because of the necrosis, because of the obstruction, because of the compression of part of the intestine. What happened? The colic pain will be there. Okay, at the same time baby is having increased body temperature, that is up to the 106 degrees Fahrenheit. The medical management is should administer the barium enema, air insufflation. Whether that procedures is fail, then go for the surgical intervention. So you should write about the pre and then post operative nursing management, and then write the nursing diagnosis. Okay, did you understood about today's topic? Thank you.